Hello everyone, warm welcome to Regulatory Bodies YouTube channel by Testbook. My name is Madhav Sir. I welcome you all in your favorite session, that is Finance Current Affairs. In this particular session, as you know, we discuss the news related to the banking and the financial world, as well as we give a lot of focus on the RBI related news as well, where we cover the RBI press release, RBI circulars, master directions, RBI bulletin, as well as other RBI publications. So, before I start with the discussion, may I have a reply in the comment section that I'm audible, visible, everything is fine, we are good to go, so that we can begin the discussion, because today I have many important news for everyone. Some of the news are directly related to RBI, some of the news are directly from the RBI master directions, and rest of the news will be discussed related to the financial world. So let's begin the discussion. आज के सेशन में कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो आपको याद करनी पड़ेंगी. दैट मीन्स यू हैव अ फैक्ट्स एंड डेटा रिलेटेड न्यूज, और उसके अलावा 3 न्यूज ऐसी हैं जिसमें यू विल एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड मेनी इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स, मेनी इंपॉर्टेंट topics of your finance syllabus itself, which will help you in writing a good descriptive answer in the RBI examination. तो चलिए जरा बिना किसी देरी के आज के सेशन की शुरुआत करते हैं. आई होप यू ऑल आर रेडी. सो हियर वी गो विद द सेशन गाइज. एज यू ऑल नो कि अगर आप चाहते हैं सेशन की पीडीएफ को डाउनलोड करना, तो इस सेशन की जो पीडीएफ है दैट विल बी अवेलेबल ऑन माय टेलीग्राम चैनल. द नेम ऑफ द टेलीग्राम चैनल इज इकोनॉमिक्स बाय माधव अरोड़ा, एंड if you don't want to type the name, you can directly scan the code which is mentioned on the screen. Scan कीजिए इस code को, join the telegram channel in order to download the PDF, and even you can go with my handle, that is @Madhav Arora. चलो जी, here we go with the very first news of the evening, and the very first news of the evening is now on your screen. The news is related to Reserve Bank of India prepayment charges on loan. I hope ये न्यूज आपने कहीं ना कहीं जरूर सुनी होगी, क्योंकि इससे रिलेटेड हमने ऑलरेडी कुछ डिस्कशंस की हैं इन द पास्ट. तो अगर हम बात करें इसका मतलब क्या, इसका मतलब बड़ा सिंपल है गाइस. इफ यू बोरो अ लोन एंड लेट्स सपोज यू हैव बोरोड द लोन फॉर 10 years and you are making the regular payments, that is you are making the repayment of the loan in the form of equated monthly installments. Now after 5 years you are in a position to pay back your left out outstanding value. So the moment you reach to the bank and you say that bank, I am ready to pay the outstanding value, I want to close down my loan, I want to pre-close my loan. So in that particular case, in case of pre-closure, bank will charge charges on you. Now the point is, सर बैंक का पैसा मैंने वापस कर दिया, समय से पहले वापस कर दिया, फिर बैंक मेरे ऊपर चार्जेस क्यों चार्ज कर रहा है, उसके पीछे क्या लॉजिक है, उसके पीछे क्या दिमाग है. तो उसका आंसर क्या है गाइस, सिंपल सी बात है. वी कॉल इट एज असेट लायबिलिटी मैनेजमेंट. बैंक वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग दैट यू विल बी रीपेइंग द लोन थ्रू EMIs, एंड बैंक हैज ऑलरेडी मेड अ प्लान हाउ टू यूटिलाइज योर EMI. बट नाउ द मोमेंट यू हैव pre-closed your loan, the moment you have pre-closed your loan, or you are trying to pre-close the loan, so in that particular case there risk which is going to arise on the bank in this particular discussion will be reinvestment risk. कि भैया जो पैसा आपने वापस कर दिया, समय से पहले वापस कर दिया, now bank will be reinvesting that amount. अगर उस reinvestment पे बैंक, guys, am I audible? Is there any issue with the voice? Guys, am I audible? Is there any issue with the voice? May I have a reply, please? Okay, now it's fine. Okay, so now what I was trying to say, that if you are pre-closing your loan, in that particular scenario, there will be a risk on a bank, and the risk on the bank will be reinvestment risk. अब क्वेश्चन ये आता है कि सर ये जो रीइन्वेस्टमेंट रिस्क है, इसका मतलब ये है कि बैंक ने मान लो आपको जो लोन दिया था, वो लोन दिया था at 12% per annum, and on this 12% per annum, bank was earning net interest margin of, let's say, 7%. But now the moment you have prepaid your loan, the moment you have closed down your loan, you have paid your loan before the timelines, and now bank has to reinvest that loan. And अगर मान लो कि बैंक उसे reinvest कर पाए या बैंक उसे दोबारा लोन पर दे पाए as per the current conditions at only 10% per annum, so obviously जो बैंक का NIM है that will fall down from 7 to 5%. तो इस रिस्क को काउंटर करने के लिए, इस रिस्क को मॉनिटर करने के लिए बैंक जनरली charges in case of pre-closure of the loan. बैंक जनरली charges in case of pre-closure of loan. लेकिन जैसे ही आपने प्री क्लोजर ऑफ लोन की बात की तो आरबीआई पिक्चर में आया. आरबीआई ने कहा कि यार ये जो प्री क्लोजर ऑफ लोन है ना, दिस विल बी एप्लीकेबल, और द चार्जेस on the pre-closure of loan will be applicable only and only in case of fixed loan. Fixed loan means the type of loan in which the lending rate is prefixed. The lending rate is prefixed as well as it is pre-decided. So lending rate एक तो पहले से decide किया गया, pre-decided, and it is fixed for the entire tenure of the loan. For the entire tenure of the loan. तो अगर मान लो आपने लोन लिया एट द रेट 10% पर एनम फॉर 10 ईयर्स और अगले 10 साल तक आपके लोन पे जो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट है वो सेम है, तो आरबीआई कहता है कि ठीक है, अगर फिक्स्ड लोन है ना, और अगर फिक्स्ड लोन प्री क्लोजर में जा रहा है, इफ द फिक्स्ड लोन इज गोइंग इन प्री क्लोजर, देन आरबीआई अलाउज द रेगुलेटेड एंटिटीज टू चार्ज पेनल्टी. रेगुलेटेड एंटिटीज का मतलब आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट एनबीएफसीज एज वेल. तो उन्होंने कहा कि ठीक है यार, if you want you can charge the penalty. There is nothing wrong in this. Why there is nothing wrong? The reason is अगर बैंक आपको fixed lending rate पे लोन दे रहा है and if you are prepaying the loan before the timeline, then obviously bank has to face the reinvestment risk. But दूसरी तरफ आरबीआई ने कहा कि अगर ये floating loan है, what is floating loan? So floating loan is a type of loan in which the lending rate is not fixed. Lending rate is not fixed, it is revised on regular basis. It is revised on regular basis. For example, आज की डेट में अगर आपका जो लोन है that is EBLR, that is connected to EBLR, that is external benchmark lending rate, और external benchmark lending rate को we have connected with और बैंक has connected with repo rate. तो जब जब आरबीआई repo rate बदलेगा तब तब बैंक का एक्सटर्नल बेंचमार्क लेंडिंग रेट चेंज होगा और तब आपके लोन का लेंडिंग रेट भी क्या होगा, चेंज होगा. सो आरबीआई सेइंग इफ बैंक इज नॉट चार्जिंग अ फिक्स्ड लोन, दैट मींस बैंक इज नॉट एमिंग अ predefined prefixed NIM, then in that particular case, if pre-closure of loan is done, then that pre-closure of loan will be done at no fees, no penalty, nothing will be paid by the borrower. No fees, no penalty will be paid by the borrower. समझ आ गया point? Is this point clear? Guys, is this point clear? Any doubt till this point? तो अगली बार अगर आपसे कोई पूछेगा what is fixed loan, you will be in a position to answer it. Next time if someone asks you what is floating loan, you will be in a position to answer it. And if someone asks you कि भैया ये जो पेनल्टी है इसके पीछे का लॉजिक क्या है, नाउ यू आर इन अ पोजीशन टू आंसर द लॉजिक एज वेल. नाउ लेट्स डिस्कस द न्यूज व्हाट वी हैव. सो द न्यूज सेज दैट इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द बैकग्राउंड, RBI has noticed that the banks as well as the NBFCs, they follow different practices on prepayment charges, causing confusion as well as complaints. Some lenders they include restrictive clauses कि भैया आप अपने लोन को समय से पहले कंप्लीट कर ही नहीं सकते. There are certain restrictive clauses in the loan contract to stop borrower from even completing the loan before time or even transferring the loan or switching the loan in order to enjoy the better offers. तो इन सारी problems को देखते हुए RBI came in the picture and RBI came up with a draft in February 2025. अब उस ड्राफ्ट को पब्लिक फीडबैक के लिए रखा गया, एंड आफ्टर द पब्लिक फीडबैक आरबीआई हैज कम अप विद द न्यू गाइडलाइंस रिलेटेड टू प्रीपेमेंट चार्जेस ऑन लोन्स. तो क्या क्या इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स हैं? सबसे पहली चीज, सर ये जो प्रीपेमेंट चार्जेस ऑन लोन से रिलेटेड जो डायरेक्शन आरबीआई ने दी है, दिस इज गोइंग टू बी इफेक्टिव फ्रॉम विच डेट? सर इट विल बी इफेक्टिव फ्रॉम 1st of January 2026. It will be applicable on which all banks? And it will be applicable on all the scheduled commercial banks except payment banks. Payment banks पे क्यों applicable नहीं है? क्योंकि सर पेमेंट बैंक लोन ही नहीं देता. तो अगर पेमेंट बैंक is not providing the loan, there is no point discussing that whether this particular direction is applicable on payment bank or not, क्योंकि ये direction किससे related है? That is related to prepayment of loan. और payment bank तो loan ही नहीं दे रहा. If payment bank is not giving the loan, then there is no point discussing that whether this direction is applicable on payment bank or not. So they have removed the payment bank wala point. Second is, it is applicable on cooperative banks, it is applicable on NBFCs, even it is applicable on all India financial institutions. Now you must be wondering कि sir all India financial institution मतलब NABARD. Sir, NABARD provide loan directly to the public. My answer is yes. NABARD and other organizations, which we call it as all India financial institutes, if I target NABARD, NABARD get into the operation of direct as well as indirect financing. Direct as well as indirect financing. NABARD also get into the function of refinancing. So if NABARD is providing direct financing to the public, to the authorities, to the organization, so in that particular case, if NABARD is offering a loan which is a floating rate loan, in that particular case, NABARD is not allowed to charge any kind of penalty if the borrower is trying to close the loan before timeline, before the tenure. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया ये पॉइंट? ओके, मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. नाउ द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. जब भी कभी हम कोई भी डायरेक्शन पढ़ते हैं, फर्स्ट वी रीड द एप्लीकेबिलिटी. अब एप्लीकेबिलिटी के बाद नाउ वील अंडरस्टैंड द रूल्स, व्हाट ऑल पेनल्टीज आर गोइंग टू बी चार्ज, या किन किन कंडीशंस में पेनल्टीज विल नॉट बी चार्ज. सो प्लीज पे अटेंशन. फर्स्ट आई डिस्कस दिस पॉइंट, देन माय आंसर टू दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन वुड बी, इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द पेनल्टीज, सो पेनल्टी इज नॉट charged in case of non-business purposes of, or I would say the loan which is a non-business purpose loan given. In that particular case, no penalty is going to be charged. In that particular case, no penalty is going to be charged. So in case of okay, so if I talk about the loan, if the loan is a non-business purpose loan given to the individual, for example, home loan. So in case of home loan, no prepayment charges are allowed that will be charged by the bank, but only and only किस केस में, अगर आपका लोन कौन सा है? Sir, if your loan is floating rate loan, that means the rate of interest on the loan is not fixed, it is changing on regular basis depending upon the parameter with which it has been connected. But if it is a business purpose loan, or if it is a loan given to MSME, micro, small and medium enterprises, then in that particular case, penalty will not be charged in case of prepayment of loan, only and only in case of few banks, which include commercial banks except small finance banks, RRBs and local area banks. याद रखना, this is the direct question which can be asked in the examination कि अगर फ्लोटिंग लोन है तो क्या पेनल्टी चार्ज होगी इन केस ऑफ प्रीपेमेंट? योर आंसर वुड बी यस. पेनल्टी, योर आंसर विल बी नो if it is a non-business purpose loan given to an individual, or if it is a business loan given to an individual or given to a micro, small, medium enterprises. No penalty will be charged if the loan is given by private banks or by public sector bank or by foreign bank. Next is, no penalty will be charged if loan is given by the Tier 4 urban cooperative bank. No penalty will be charged if the loan is given by NBFC, which fall in the category of upper layer. And obviously no penalty will be charged in case of all India financial institution. But if it is a small finance bank, if it is RRB, if it is state cooperative bank, if it is central cooperative bank, if it is Tier 3 urban cooperative bank, then no penalty will be charged only and only. Then no penalty will be charged only and only in a case where the loan value is up to 50 lakhs. If लोन की वैल्यू 50 लाख से ज्यादा है और लोन दिया गया फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ व्हाट? So loan has been given for the purpose of business. That means you are setting up a new business, you are running the business. अगर business purpose के लिए लोन दिया गया और उसकी वैल्यू 50 लाख से ज्यादा है, और अगर बैंक है जिसने लोन दिया वो स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक है, या वो RRB है, या फिर वो कोऑपरेटिव बैंक है, स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव या सेंट्रल कोऑपरेटिव बैंक है, या फिर वो Tier 3 का अर्बन कोऑपरेटिव बैंक है, देन penalty will be charged. अब question ये आएगा कि sir penalty कितनी charge होगी, what will be the value of the penalty? Then my answer would be, sir, the value of the penalty will be decided. The value of the penalty will be decided on the basis of what? So the value of penalty will be decided on the basis of board approved, policies. For example, if I talk about the Urban Cooperative Bank, the Urban Cooperative Bank का जो board है, they have collectively decided that what penalty they are going to be charged, and that penalty will be charged only if the loan is given for the business purpose and the loan value is above 50 lakhs. Same applies for NBFC, that is in the medium layer. Same applies for the NBFC which is in the medium layer. अब question ये आता है कि सर ये penalty कितनी होगी? As I said, this penalty is going to be decided by the board of the bank. Now, on what basis this penalty is decided? ध्यान से सुनना, बहुत important point है. पहला, अगर तो आपका loan term loan है. I hope you understand what is term loan. Term loan means a type of loan in which time period is decided and defined, as well as return procedure is regular. Return procedure is regular means you are returning the loan in the form of installments, maybe monthly installments, quarterly, semi-annual or annual installments, but generally we go with monthly installments. We call it as EMI. तो आपने एक loan लिया, the loan has been borrowed for 10 years and you are making the repayment in the EMI form. And now if you want to pre-close the loan, if you want to go for pre-closure of the loan, in that particular case, if it is a business loan, and loan value is greater than 50 lakhs and loan is borrowed either from small finance bank or RRB, state or central cooperative bank, or from tier 3 urban cooperative bank, or from NBFC falling in middle layer, then penalty will be charged. But this penalty will not depend on the loan amount. This penalty will depend on the outstanding amount. समझ आ रही है बात कि जो आपका amount outstanding है, what is the outstanding amount? The amount which you are supposed to pay back as of today when you are closing down the loan. अगर मान लो 60 लाख का लोन था and you are paying 10 lakh rupees to close this loan, तो उस 10 लाख के according, उस 10 लाख के context में penalty will be charged. Now let's suppose your loan value is 60 lakhs and today you are paying 20 lakhs in one go to close down the loan. So that penalty will depend on that 20 lakh rupees. But if it is not a term loan, rather it is a limit account. Limit account समझते हैं ना कि आपको एक limit दे दी, मान लो as a businessman you have a limit of 100 crores or let's say you have a limit of 1 crore rupees and you are utilizing the amount whenever required. So at the time of pre-closing, this kind of loan, in that particular case, penalty will depend on the limit value. So यहाँ पे कितना पैसा देकर आप अपने limit account को समय से पहले या promise से पहले या discussion से पहले बंद कर रहे हैं, that won't depend on the amount of closing the loan. It will depend on the limit value. I'll just read it for you so that the things can be clear. Remember that in case the loan is not covered in the above discussion, then charges are allowed as per the regulated entity approved policy. Term loan charges on the base of amount being prepaid, and cash credit or overdraft charges can be applied only on the basis of the sanction limit rather than on the outstanding limit. But along with that, you need to remember the conditions of non-charging the penalty. It is applicable regardless of the prepayment or lock-in period, and in case of ड्यूअल और स्पेशल रेट लोन, आपको याद है मैंने आपको कहा था कि कुछ ऐसे भी लोन होते हैं जिसमें यू एंजॉय फिक्स्ड लेंडिंग रेट फॉर सर्टेन टेन्योर ऑफ योर लोन एंड देन यू एंजॉय फ्लोटिंग लेंडिंग रेट फॉर सर्टेन टेन्योर ऑफ योर लोन, एंड इवन यू कैन शिफ्ट फ्रॉम फिक्स्ड टू फ्लोटिंग और यू कैन शिफ्ट फ्रॉम फ्लोटिंग टू fixed lending rate. So in that particular case, if you are closing down the loan, and if at the time of closing down the loan, at the time of pre-closing your loan, if the loan is enjoying floating lending rates, then no penalty. Otherwise, if it is under the category of fixed lending rate, then penalty will be charged regardless of the fact that whether it is a loan given for business purpose or non-business purpose. I don't care. समझ आई ये बात? Now we have certain exceptions. No prepayment charges if no prepayment charges if the borrower inform in advance and close the OD account on due date. तो borrower ने पहले से inform किया था बैंक को कि मैं आने वाली इतनी डेट को अपना OD account close करूंगा. In that particular case, no penalty will be charged. Prepayment if अगर आपने prepayment जो की है बैंक को, it has been done on the regulated entity's own demand, then also no penalty will be charged. So all details about the prepayment charges must be, so all the details regarding the prepayment charges must be clearly mentioned in the sanction letter, loan agreement, as well as in the key fact statement. No hidden charges are allowed. Charges previously waived cannot be recovered later on, and as per the current scenario, whichever law, whichever rules and regulation which have been implemented these days, those laws, those instructions will be repealed, and the new instructions will came into force from 1st of January 2026. समझ आ गई सारी कहानी? अब आपको लग रहा होगा यार इसमें क्या ही था, पता नहीं सर ने क्यों डिस्कस किया. बट इफ आई टेल यू, अगर आप एक बार मेरी इस क्लास के बाद जाकर नोटिफिकेशन को पढ़ेंगे ना, जो आरबीआई की नोटिफिकेशन है ऑन दी आरबीआई प्लेटफॉर्म, एक लाइन समझ नहीं आएगी, क्योंकि उसमें चीजें थोड़ी सी टफ लैंग्वेज में मैं कहूंगा लिखी जाती है, और मेरा काम उतना ही है कि मैं उस टफ लैंग्वेज को एक सिंपल लैंग्वेज में आपके सामने लेके आऊं, एंड आई शुड एक्सप्लेन यू ईच एंड एवरी पॉइंट सो दैट यू कैन कनेक्ट विद इट इन अ बेटर मैनर. ठीक है. नाउ those who are watching this session from January onwards, then I don't know whether you remember it or not. In January 2025, there was a discussion, there was a master direction issued by RBI which says that if you have borrowed a loan under the fixed rate category, which we call it as fixed loan, where the rate of interest or the lending rate is fixed, then you can change your loan from fixed to floating loan. That means you can change your loan parameters. For example, at the time of borrowing, it was fixed loan, and now you want to go to floating loan. You can do it. You can do it within the loan tenor. You can do it within the loan tenor. Secondly, if you have borrowed a loan that is a floating loan, you can shift to fixed loan whenever required. So this shifting has been approved by RBI. This shift has been approved by RBI, but the number of shifts and charges per shift are decided by the bank, are decided by the regulated entity board. So board will decide what will be the number of shift and what will be the charges. But yes, RBI has approved that it doesn't matter if you have borrowed the loan on fixed loan, you can, on fixed rate, you can transfer or you can change your loan tenor, you can change your loan parameters from fixed rate of interest or fixed lending rate to floating lending rate. और अगर floating में भी मजा नहीं आ रहा, you can come back to fixed again. That has been allowed as per the RBI latest discussion, and this discussion was done on this platform itself in the month of January. अगर आप देखना चाहते हैं, you can go back and you can check the detail which is available. It was on 9th to 11th January 2025 का जो सेशन था, आई गेस ये 12 जनवरी को सेशन हुआ होगा, और उसमें मैंने ये वाला जो टॉपिक है बहुत डिटेल में डिस्कस किया था. यू कैन गो थ्रू विद इट. बट बिफोर आई कंक्लूड देयर इज अ टर्म इन दिस डिस्कशन, अगर आपने ध्यान से देखा होगा, द टर्म इन दिस डिस्कशन इज को-ऑब्लिगेंट. द मोमेंट आई रीड दिस टर्म विद और विदाउट को-ऑब्लिगेंट, तो मेरे दिमाग में तीन चीजें आती हैं: को-ऑब्लिगेंट, को-एप्लीकेंट, और उसके साथ साथ एक वर्ड है दैट इज गारंटर. तो को-ऑब्लिगेंट का क्या मतलब? वेरी सिंपल गाइस. लेट्स से देयर इज एन इंडिविजुअल ए and this individual has started a business. Now in order to expand the business, this individual is looking for a loan. So in that particular case, this individual ties up with the second individual, and these two individuals, they collectively apply for the loan. So they will be termed as co-applicant, and if the loan is sanctioned, then they will be co-obligant. They will be co-obligant to pay back the loan. That means A and B, they both are responsible to pay back the loan. So if Mr. A and Mr. B take a business loan together, both are co-obligant. If A fails to pay, the bank asks Mr. B to repay the full loan. That is known as co-obligant, and the term has been used in your discussion. But co-applicant is the one who is applying with you so that your loan capability or your borrowing capacity can increase. Once you get the loan, the co-applicant will become the co-obligant, but guarantor is something different. The third party which is guaranteeing you, that if the loan is not paid back or if the loan turns into NPA, then the third party will be responsible to pay back on the behalf of the borrower to the lender, that is known as guarantor. ठीक है जी, तो ये गारंटर, को एप्लीकेंट, को ऑब्लिगेंट, तीनों टर्म्स क्या है मैंने लिख दी है यहाँ पर. यू कैन डाउनलोड द पीडीएफ एंड गो थ्रू विद इट. उसके अलावा आई हैव यूज्ड अ वर्ड NBFC upper layer, NBFC middle layer. So I have discussed this n number of times. Still the detail has been given. Go through with it from the PDF. और मैंने already बता चुका है कि अगर हम tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 urban cooperative banks की बात करें, तो in case of tier 2 and tier 1, if there is a pre-closure of loan, penalty charge होगी irrespective of the fact कि वो लोन कौन सी कैटेगरी में दिया गया. बट वो लोन की वैल्यू क्या है. बट अगर मैं टीयर 3 की बात करूं, इन केस ऑफ टीयर 3, if the loan value is above 50 lakhs and business loan, then only penalty will be charged, and in case of tier 4, no penalty will be charged for business loan also. Clear होगी ये बात? I hope this point is absolutely clear to everyone. So this is how we complete one small discussion of RBI master direction. देखने में बहुत ही छोटी सी discussion थी, but I think the way we have covered it, it is absolutely clear to you. And you must be feeling that difference ki yes, if you want to cover the content, this is the right way, this is the right approach, so that you can cover the news in a holistic manner. So direct loan by NABARD include, yes, यहाँ पे clearly mentioned है ना, individual, clearly mentioned in the guidelines, individual. So we are talking about the individuals only. Okay, so let's move on to the next news. But if you have enjoyed the discussion, if you feel the content which I have shared with you is worthy enough to be read after this particular session, then I would request you quickly hit the like button so that we can move on to the next news. So this I have given you the difference between fixed loan as well as floating loan, and these are the different methods on the basis of which lending rate is decided. ये सारा का सारा जो data है that has been covered in this video, which was conducted on 12th of January. So if you want, you can go to the playlist of finance current affairs और वहां पर आपको ये वीडियो जो है मिल जाएगी. And after this session, I'll ask my team to add the link of this session in the description itself. Moving on to the next news. The next news is RBI has issued final guidelines for the due diligence of ATOs. ATO stands for, guys, it stands for Aadhaar Enabled Payment System. Aadhaar Enabled Payment System Touch Point Operator. Aadhaar Enabled Payment System Touch Point Operator. अब इस अगर मैं गाइडलाइन की बात करूं तो इस गाइडलाइन में ज्यादा दम नहीं है. देयर इज नथिंग मच टू अंडरस्टैंड बिकॉज नो मेजर changes have been announced or no major criteria have been announced in this particular guideline. But the most important part is, what is this AePS touch point operator? So let's first decode it. And then we will be moving ahead. सबसे पहली चीज, I'll start my discussion with the term Aadhaar Enabled Payment Service. What is Aadhaar Enabled Payment Service? Guys, Aadhaar Enabled Payment Service means when you enjoy your banking services, for example, deposit of funds, for example, withdrawal of funds, for example, checking out your balance inquiry or checking out your account balance, getting your mini statement. If you are enjoying all these facilities, without debit card, you're enjoying all these facilities without your mobile number, you're enjoying these facilities without your bank application, you have not installed the bank application in your phone, you don't even have a smartphone, and you have not even activated the mobile banking on your phone, that means you're not even eligible to use USSD services. Now, in that particular case, still you are in a position to enjoy the banking services. And how it is possible? Sir, it is possible with the help of your Aadhaar card. You know this very well that RBI has asked the customers to attach their Aadhaar card with all the bank accounts you are holding. So the moment So the moment you are in a position to pay back or you are in a position to make the payment, you can use this Aadhaar card information to complete the transaction. I'll give you a simple example. To understand this particular concept. Please pay attention. I'm pretty sure that you are going to enjoy this discussion. Let's suppose there is an individual. This individual approached to a filling station, let's say to a petrol pump, to get his car or maybe bike refilled. This petrol pump owner possesses a point of sale machine, and this point of sale machine is presented, or this service is provided by the merchant bank. That means the petrol pump owner's bank, and the bank is ICICI Bank. Now the moment you reach and you have got your car or bike filled, then in that particular case, the worker on that petrol pump will ask you, sir पैसे कैसे दोगे, QR कोड स्कैन करोगे या कार्ड दोगे या क्या? आपने कहा आधार कार्ड. The moment he heard Aadhaar card, he was not shocked. The machine he is having, on that machine, first is written card payment, second is written UPI payment, third is written Aadhaar payment. He will click on this Aadhaar payment. The moment he will click on this Aadhaar payment, on the next screen, there are certain datas which are need to be entered. So customer will be asked to enter his or her Aadhaar number. The moment you will enter your Aadhaar number, there will be certain bank logos will come, because your Aadhaar card is linked to 3 banks. Now you want to access your account which is in SBI, so you will click on SBI. After clicking on SBI, you will be giving your biometric identification. That means with the help of fingerprint scan, you will be authorized. The moment you will be authorized, then the payment will be debited from your account. And that debit amount will be credited into the merchant's account, which is with ICICI. So when you enjoy these services with the help of Aadhaar number, with the help of Aadhaar card, which is linked to your bank account, we call that as Aadhaar enabled payment service. Now Aadhaar enabled payment service is clear to you. The way I say touch point operator, अब इसका क्या मतलब हुआ? So bank has appointed a business correspondent, and this business correspondent, or there is a banking agent of a bank, and the agent as well as business correspondent, they have been given micro ATMs by the bank. These micro ATMs can be accessed in order to withdraw the funds. So individual will reach to these business correspondents or to these agents, enter the Aadhaar number, choose the bank, authenticate through the biometric authentication. Then this business correspondent will pay the cash, or this agent will pay the cash from their pocket to the individual, and the amount from the individual's account will be credited into the banking correspondent account or into the agent's account. So this agent which is providing Aadhaar enabled services, or this business correspondent who is providing the Aadhaar enabled services, who is handling this Aadhaar enabled payment touch point, is known as touch point operator. The one who is operating this machine, the one who is providing services to the public through Aadhaar card details, that is basically termed as Aadhaar enabled touch point operator. You know ये काम कैसे करता, ध्यान से देखना जरा. सबसे पहले, the way I said, you approach to a business correspondent, a Kirana store owner with a micro ATM. So money transfer instruction will be given, and biometric information will be shared. This information will reach to the bank through the business correspondent bank account. This information will go to NPCI. NPCI will retrieve the information from UIDAI stored data, और वहां से authenticate होकर आएगा कि हाँ भैया आधार कार्ड नंबर सही है, उसके corresponding जो fingerprints हैं, that is also correct. और जैसे ही ये confirmation आई, then there will be a debit request from the customer account, from the customer's bank account. Funds will be debited and customer will get an SMS. कि आपके अकाउंट से 10,000 रुपए डेबिट हो चुके हैं. After that, the moment funds are debited from the customer's account, this debit request will be shared with the NPCI switch, and NPCI switch will credit the same amount into the business correspondent's account. The same amount will be credited into the business correspondent's account. तो आपके अकाउंट से 10,000 डेबिट हुए, बिजनेस कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंट के अकाउंट में 10,000 आ गए और उसने आपको कैश दे दिया अपनी पॉकेट से निकालकर. This is how the Aadhaar enabled payment system operates, and this individual who is managing the Aadhaar enabled payment system touch point is known as the operator. अगर ये न्यू समझ आ गई, अगर ये पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट समझ आ गया, then there is nothing new which you need to understand in this particular news. Let's try to understand. RBI issued final guidelines for the due diligence of Aadhaar enabled payment system touch point operators to streamline the onboarding and enhance fraud risk management. तो यहाँ पे RBI क्या कह रहा है? RBI कहता है कि अब जो बैंक्स हैं, if they are onboarding Aadhaar enabled payment system touch point operators, यानी कि ये business correspondents या जो agents हैं who are going to operate Aadhaar enabled payment system touch point on the behalf of the banks, then their registration is need to be done, and during the registration, due diligence means the entire procedure is need to be fulfilled. Entire procedure is need to be fulfilled in terms of completing the KYC, so that the agent who has been onboarded by the bank should hold all the required details of this agent, and if anything goes wrong in the near future, the agent can be targeted. So these new guidelines, they will come into force from 1st of January 2026. These guidelines are issued under Payment and Settlement System Act 2007. In July 2024, RBI issued the draft guidelines on AePS due diligence for public feedback and stakeholder feedback, and now the final guidelines have been issued. Now the point is, AePS, sir, it is operated by NPCI, that is National Payment Corporation of India, which is an umbrella organization managing, looking after all the retail payments of all the retail digital payments of the country. Now, let's try to understand the same concept with the help of the written data. What is Aadhaar enabled payment system? Sir, it is a payment system in which transactions are enabled through Aadhaar number and biometrics or OTP authentication if required. Aadhaar enabled payment system enables basic banking services like cash withdrawal, balance inquiry, mini statement, cash deposit, fund transfer, etc. What is acquiring bank? Sir, acquiring bank is the bank which onboard the Aadhaar enabled touch point operator. For example, this is SBI. So SBI has onboarded a Kirana store owner, who will be managing the Aadhaar enabled touch point on the behalf of the bank. So he will become the Aadhaar enabled touch point operator for the bank, and bank will be acquiring bank because this bank is acquiring this individual or this party as its agent. Second point is AePS touch point, the terminal deployed, the machine which will be given to the Kirana store holder, which will be connected to the bank server, which will be connected to NPCI in order to complete these transactions, that will be known as AePS touch point. And last is, who is the operator? The agent onboarded by the bank who operates AePS touch point will be termed as ATO. ठीक है जी, पढ़ लो एक बार, कोई डाउट तो पूछ लो. Sir, is there any other way to make payment through AePS if the business owner does not have machine to scan fingerprints or biometrics? उसके केस में OTP लगेगा ना तुषार. उसके केस में you have to give the OTP which will be shared on your registered mobile number. Registered mobile number, the mobile number which is linked with your Aadhaar card. The mobile number which is linked with your Aadhaar card, और वो OTP generate होगा through UIDAI. वो OTP generate होगा through UIDAI. समझ आ गई बात? Is it clear, Tushar? All the points which are mentioned on the screen are clear. Just give me a thumbs up so that I can move ahead. Just give me a thumbs up quickly so that I can move ahead. Okay. So after all these definitions, now let's talk about the announcements which have been done. So this is a good question. So Shraddha has asked a question and this will be your homework. मैं बता दूंगा, आंसर तो मैं दे सकता हूं, बट ठीक है, आपने क्वेश्चन अच्छा पूछा. So this is going to be the homework, guys. What are the limits that individual can withdraw at once using the AePS touch points? Now, compulsory due diligence. What does it mean? Acquiring bank are now required to conduct due diligence before onboarding ATOs in line with customer due diligence और KYC norms. तो उसमें ये कहा गया कि SBI अगर आप एक किराना स्टोर ओनर को ऑनबोर्ड कर रहे हैं who will become your Aadhaar enabled payment system touch point operator, then you need to complete the KYC norms the way you complete for your customer. In case ये ATO already KYC complete कर चुका है as a business correspondent, then it is fine. अगर ये KYC already हो चुकी है, किराना store owner is already the business correspondent or the banking correspondent and he is already working as a correspondent for a bank, now the kirana owner will be handling the Aadhaar enabled payment system touch point without any other prerequisite because KYC पहले ही हो चुका है तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. लेकिन अगर ये किया गया तो इस केस में एक्वायरिंग बैंक मस्ट कंडक्ट पीरियोडिक KYC अपडेशन. तो ऐसा नहीं कि एक ही बार अपडेट होगा, एक ही बार KYC किया जाएगा. KYC will be conducted on regular basis. The next point is re-KYC for inactive ATOs. What is an inactive ATO? Point आएगा, question बनेगा. What is an inactive ATO? So inactive ATO is an ATO which remains inactive for 3 consecutive months. That means no financial or non-financial transaction has been conducted by an ATO for 3 months. Then that ATO will be termed as inactive ATO or inactive ATO. And inactive ATO अगर दोबारा से एक्टिव होना चाहता है तो he or she has to complete the KYC norms again, and once they complete the KYC norms then only they can rejoin or they can operate or they can rework as an operator of these touch points. अब यहाँ पे risk management related कुछ points हैं which are really very important. First is acquiring bank are required to monitor the activities of ATOs through their transaction मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम ऑन दी ऑनगोइंग बेसिस. तो पहला पॉइंट आता है कि एटीओस के एक्टिविटीज को बैंक शुड मॉनिटर वेरी क्लोजली. दे शुड ऑल्सो कंसिडर ऑपरेशनल पैरामीटर्स की लोकेशन क्या है एटीओ की, क्योंकि एटीओस जो हैं दे कैन बी फिक्स, दे कैन बी मोबाइल. अब मान लो मैं एक एटीओ हूं और मैं एक एजेंट हूं, आई एम गोइंग डोर टू डोर, आई एम गोइंग विलेज टू विलेज सो दैट आई कैन फाइंड आउट मोर एंड मोर कस्टमर. जितने ज्यादा कस्टमर, जितनी ज्यादा ट्रांजेक्शन, उतना ज्यादा मेरा कमीशन. सो इन दैट पर्टिकुलर सिनेरियो you have to identify what is the location, what is the type, fixed or mobile, what is the volume and velocity of transaction, kitna number of transaction, kitne din, ek din mein kitni transactions are done. So on the basis of all these parameters, business risk profile of the ATO will be done, and on that particular basis the risk management is need to be done by the bank depending upon the capability or capacity or structure of the ATO. These operational parameters, they should be reviewed on periodic basis indicating emerging fraud risk. So ये जो parameters हमने अभी discuss किए, they are need to be reviewed on regular basis in order to avoid any kind of fraud in the near future. अब सोच रहे हैं कि सर ये ATOs क्या fraud करेंगे? पता है प्रॉब्लम क्या आ रही थी? Through these ATOs जो हमारी बहुत important information है, that is Aadhaar card information, that information was under leakage, and in order to avoid this leakage, in order to avoid the misuse of Aadhaar information of one individual by the another, this norm has been introduced by RBI. Clear हुआ? Bank needs to implement the robust system level control to ensure that technological integration are exclusively used for AePS operation ताकि कोई problem ना हो. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया, समझ आ गया ये पॉइंट. So this point is very important to safeguard customer from identity theft and maintain trust in AePS. This new guideline has been introduced by RBI. Now let's move on to the third news of the day. The third news is very easy. I'll take 2 minutes to complete this. Guys, I hope you remember that RBI has revised the timings for the call money market. So call money market के लिए timings were earlier 9 to 5. Now these timings have been extended from 9 to 7 p.m. From 9 to 7 p.m. अब call money market is a place where banks, they borrow or lend funds for short term in order to manage their overnight balances. And if they are not able to manage their overnight balances through call money market, then they will reach to RBI and they will try to borrow the funds through MSF or they may try to deposit their surplus funds to RBI under SDF. तो पहले क्या था, 5 बजे पहले क्या था, call money market used to close at 5 p.m. and after 5 p.m. SDF and MSF facilities were switched on by RBI. तो पहले RBI से switch on करता था at 5:30 p.m. और RBI कहता था कि now from 5:30 p.m. till 11:59 p.m. banks you can enjoy the service of MSF as well as SDF from RBI portal, that is the e-Kuber portal. अब हुआ क्या, अब रिसेंटली RBI ने एक्सटेंड कर दी टाइमलाइन, RBI ने एक्सटेंड कर दी टाइमलाइन for call money market, and in order to avoid this overlap, RBI has revised the timeline for MSF and SDF window. Now MSF and SDF window will be open from 7 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. From 7 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. बस इतनी सी बात है, इससे ज्यादा इसमें कोई दम है नहीं, लेकिन क्वेश्चन आने के पूरे चांसेस हैं। तो 1 जुलाई 2025 से स्टैंडिंग डिपॉजिट फैसिलिटी MSF टाइमिंग्स कितनी हो गई, 7 to 11:59, जो कि पहले कितनी थी, 5:50 to 11:59। मार्केट आवर्स एक्सटेंड हुए क्योंकि कॉल मनी मार्केट का टाइम 7 बजे तक कर दिया, फ्रॉम 9 to 5 it has been increased to 9 to 7, and market repo and tri-party repos has increased to 4 p.m. which was earlier till 2:30 to 3 p.m. और ये effective होगा from 1st August 2025. In order to maintain the sync, the changes has been done for SDF and MSF also. अब क्वेश्चन ये आता है कि सर ये जो कॉल मनी मार्केट है इसमें चेंजेस क्यों किए गए, why the timeline has been increased? So these timelines have been increased on the recommendation of Radha Shyam Ratho working group which was set up by RBI. Why this timing has been increased, why the recommendation was given? So the recommendation was given because of, with the motive of finding out, or with the motive of better price discovery plus liquidity optimization and market development. Public feedback was also invited and considered, and on the basis of public feedback and stakeholders feedback, the timeline has been increased from 9 to 7, but there is no change in case of government security market, in case of foreign exchange market, in case of interest rate derivative market, and any other aspect has not been changed. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गई ये बात। आई होप इट इज क्लियर, वेरी इजी, नथिंग मच टू डिस्कस। ये एक स्लाइड है और इस स्लाइड से एक क्वेश्चन आने के चांसेस हैं, एंड इफ देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम दिस स्लाइड, आई एम प्रीटी श्योर यू विल बी इन अ पोजीशन टू आंसर इट फॉर श्योर, क्योंकि अब आपको वो लिंक पता है कि क्यों टाइम एक्सटेंड किया, व्हाट वाज द रीजन बिहाइंड एक्सटेंशन, व्हाई दिस एक्सटेंशन हैज बीन डन, व्हाट विल बी द बेनिफिट, व्हाई एक्सटेंशन वाज recommended, all these things are clear to you. Now let's move on to the next news. The next news is related to India's international investment position. What is India's international investment position? इसका मतलब समझना जरा। Guys, when we talk about the entire globe, then we know this, that Indians, they invest outside India. Indians, they lend funds outside India, and simultaneously Indians, they borrow funds from the foreigners they invest in India. So this is quite obvious because we are staying in a global economy and most of the economies are open for the global intervention. Now in this particular case, if I write for this black color is basically Indian assets owned by foreigners, or I can say that liability on India, foreign liability on India. Say yes or no. भी इंडिया लायबल है फॉरेन फ्यूचर में ये पैसा वापस करने के लिए, फिर चाहे आपने इन्वेस्टमेंट ही क्यों नहीं की। अगर मान लो आज किसी ने इन्फोसिस के शेयर खरीदे, डॉलर्स में इन्वेस्ट किया, व्हेन दे विल बी selling out their shares and they will be going back, that will be a liability on the nation has to pay back the funds in foreign currency so that they can disinvest their amount. So that is known as foreign liability on India. On the other side, if I write for the red color, what is this red color? So red color is Indian assets foreign assets owned by Indians, foreign assets owned by Indians. For example, जो इंडिया में फॉरेन करेंसी का रिजर्व है, that is a foreign asset which is owned by Indians. So I can say that foreign asset, I can call it as what? So I can call it as foreign asset of India. Foreign asset of India. ये point समझ आया? Is this point clear? So next time, from now onwards, in next 10 minutes, if I will be using a term foreign asset, or I will be using a word only asset, that will be clear to you. That will be clear to you. Or if I say asset of India, foreign asset of India, I hope it is clear. और अगर मैं अगले 10 मिनट में I will be using a word Indian assets owned by foreigners or foreign liability on India, or I'll just write it as a liability. I just write it as a liability, or maybe foreign liability, that will be clear to you. तो liability का मतलब जो पैसा आपको फ्यूचर में वापस देना पड़ेगा, फिर चाहे वो लोन है, चाहे वो इन्वेस्टमेंट है, और ये एसेट है जो फ्यूचर में आपको पैसा दे सकती है. दिस इज समथिंग which will result in incoming funds. This will result in incoming funds. This will result in incoming, and this will result in outgoing. Say yes or no. Say yes or no. Wake up, guys. Do let me know in the comment section if it is clear. Now, if I say incoming is less than, if I say incoming is less than outgoing, मतलब जो पैसा आ सकता था वो कम है और जो पैसा बाहर जा सकता है वो ज्यादा है. Means foreign assets of India is less than foreign liabilities on India. So if that is the case, this shows that India has a negative investment position. So what is India's international position? So India's international investment position is negative. Negative means India's or foreign assets owned by Indians is less than Indian assets owned by foreigners. That means liability, foreign liability on India is more than the foreign assets owned by India, and that is the reason we say India's international investment position is negative. समझ आ गई ये बात? बस अगर इतना समझ आ गया, now the game is solved. So now I will be discussing with you the data on the same. Net claim of non-residents on India fell by $342 billion. Fell by $342 billion. अगर आप ध्यान से देखें, total asset. What is this total asset? Sir, foreign assets owned by or foreign assets of India. समझ आ रहा है? जो पैसा इंडियंस ने बाहर कंट्रीज को लोन पे दिया है, जो पैसा इंडियंस ने बाहर कंट्रीज में इन्वेस्ट किया है, और टोटल लाइबिलिटी इज फॉरेन लाइबिलिटी ऑन इंडिया. समझ आ रही है बातें? तो अगर आप ध्यान से देखें तो ये जो फॉरेन असेट्स है, दे आर 1139.2 बिलियन डॉलर्स, और जो फॉरेन लाइबिलिटीज है दैट इज 1469.2 बिलियन डॉलर्स, व्हिच मींस वी आर इन अ नेगेटिव पोजीशन where assets are less than liability, that is $330 billion. But you know what? Earlier, this was minus $364.2 billion. Earlier it was minus $364.2 billion. Now it has reduced. So it has reduced. So how come it has reduced? It has reduced because in the last quarter, foreign assets has increased by $60 billion, but foreign liabilities has increased only by $25.8 billion. तो आपने assets जो बढ़ाई वो कितनी बढ़ गई? $60 billion, लेकिन आपके ऊपर जो liability बढ़ी that is only $25.8 billion. So actually you are, for that particular quarter, you were positive. You were positive by what value? So you were positive by $34.2 billion. So ये जो $34.2 billion पॉजिटिव था, जब आपने इसमें ऐड किया किसमें ऐड किया? सर you added it in this minus $364.2 billion, then you get an answer that is the current net outstanding is minus $330 billion. ठीक? Now quarterly data is not much important, but it is for your reference क्योंकि ये न्यूज जो बनी है वो क्वार्टरली डेटा पे बनी है, बट आई हैव टेकन अप द ईयरली डेटा इन मच डिटेल, दैट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट. तो ईयरली डेटा क्या कहता है सर? फॉर द एंटायर फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2024 to 2025, net claim of the non-resident has decreased by $31.2 billion, where we say India's financial asset has increased by $105.4 billion and external liability has increased by $74.2 billion. So asset ज़्यादा थी liability से. This was positive. जब इस positive को पहले वाले negative से minus किया गया तो automatically the net claim of non-resident has decreased by $31.2 billion और आज की डेट में जो net claim है that is $330 billion. This is the net claim. Net claim का मतलब अगर आप अपनी foreign assets को बेच देंगे then you will be short of $330 billion to pay back your foreign liabilities. ठीक? Moving on to the next point. What are the main drivers of this asset growth? So the main drivers of this asset growth is overseas direct investment, increase in deposits of foreign currency into the Indian banking system, and reserve assets. So reserve asset means your forex reserves have increased by $21.9 billion, and it has increased not only because of increase in accumulation of foreign reserves, it has also increased because of the valuation effect. Moving to the next, main drivers for liability growth: inward direct investment, loans, and currency as well as deposit which is flowing out. Now the next point is the asset to liability ratio. Asset to liability ratio means what is the foreign assets of the country divided by foreign liabilities of India. This ratio was earlier 74.1%. Now it has increased to 77.5%, which is a good sign. Which is a good sign. Why it is a good sign? Because asset to liability percentage has increased, which means percentage of asset with respect to liability has increased, which is a good call. Which is a good call. Moving to the next one. If I talk about net India's international investment position to GDP ratio, what I'm trying to say, net international investment position of India, which is minus $330 billion. If I divide it with India's GDP, then what will be the ratio? So this percentage is minus 0.87%. This is minus 0.87% and it has improved. It has improved. If you check the data, it is today minus 8.7%. Minus क्यों है? क्योंकि सर ये net international investment ही minus है, negative है, तो वो negative sign मैंने यहाँ as it is लिख दिया, तो मेरे पास जो percentage आई that is a negative. But last year it was 10.1%, which means the net claim of foreign or net claim on India by the foreigners divided by GDP was earlier 10.1%. या आप ये कहो GDP का 10.1% was the net claim on India, which has now reduced to 8.7% of the GDP. Assets have increased to 29.3, liabilities have decreased to 38%. तो asset percentage increase हुआ, liability percentage decrease हुआ, जिसकी वजह से overall जो net value है उसका percentage with respect to GDP has improved from -10 to -8. Now what are the compositions of asset? अगर मैं asset की बात करूं तो asset में सबसे ज्यादा जो asset है that is in the form of reserve asset. Reserve asset का मतलब forex reserve. Out of your total foreign asset, 58.7% is your reserve asset. Then 23.7 is the direct investment. Then other investment in the form of loans or deposit is 16.4. That means loan given by Indians outside India, deposits holded by Indians outside India. Then portfolio investment is 1.2% and FDI done by foreign direct investment done by Indians outside India holds 23.7% of the total share. If I talk about the liability में सबसे ज्यादा जो हमारे ऊपर burden है that is from loans, deposits as well as trade credits. Loan to matlab simple hai, the amount which we have borrowed from the foreign entities. Deposit is the amount which has been directly deposited in the banks of the country. It's a liability on India. And then we have trade credits. Trade credit means today you have purchased a product and you say that I will be paying back after 3 months. That is a trade credit. Then we have direct investment, 37.9% liability on us, and portfolio investment is 18.5, where in case of our asset, Indians investing in the share market of the other countries is just 1.2% of the total asset value. But in case of liability, 18.5%, we are liable to the foreigners just because of their investment in our share market. This is something which you need to observe. If I talk about debt versus non-debt liabilities, debt का मतलब जो पैसा आपने लोन पे लिए, और नॉन डेट का मतलब जो पैसा या तो आपकी कंट्री में इन्वेस्टमेंट के फॉर्म में आया, दैट इज नॉन डेट लाइबिलिटी, और डेट लाइबिलिटी का मतलब जो पैसा लोन पे लिया. तो ये जो लोन वाला पैसा है ना, दिस इज वेरी डेंजरस because it is not only the liability you have to pay, that means it is not only the principal you have to pay back, there is a liability of regular payment of interest. But in case of investment, you are not liable to pay any amount on regular basis. If their business is earning profit, then only they will be getting the return, and if the business is not earning any profit, then in that particular scenario, the organization which has received this investment is not liable to make the regular payments. So if I say in March 2025, our debt is 54.8%. That means out of the total liability of India, debt to total liability is 54.8%, which has increased from 51.7%, and this is a point of worry. Now you must be wondering why it is a point to worry. Please pay attention. So whenever we talk about this particular point, to remember this point, that external debt means India's total liability that need to be repaid to the foreign lenders include loans, foreign currency bonds, deposit held by foreigners, trade credits and whatnot. Total liability includes debt liability must be repaid. Non-debt liability, it is FDI in equity, no repayment obligation is there. So why India needs to monitor the debt value or the external debt value? Because debt has repayment obligation. If too much builds up, it can stress the foreign exchange reserves. It will increase India's external vulnerability. It will raise refinancing and interest rate risk on India. So it is very important that the nation should look after this external debt very closely, because if your external debt is increasing, that means your nation is not very strong enough in the current scenario. Last but not the least is, what is the significance of international investment position? Sir, it indicates external strength or vulnerability. It indicates the credit worthiness of the country. It helps the investor to have confidence in the nation. It also helps in policy planning like forex reserves and whatnot. If I talk about some of the key takeaways of this discussion, India's net IIP has improved. Still it is negative, but it has improved. Asset growth, especially the reserves and direct investment, outpaced the rise in liability. So asset growth is more than the liabilities in the past quarter as well as in the past financial year. But external debt as percentage of liability is increasing, which require monitoring, and positive trend in international investment position to GDP ratio, which was minus 8.71%. It has improved from minus 10.1%. This is a positive trend, which shows that yes, India is now a bit resilient in order to handle these situations. Is this clear, guys? So I hope all the news which we have discussed today are crystal clear. If you still have any doubt, you may ask, please, else we'll conclude the discussion. I have one more news, but I don't think I will be able to cover it today. So I will be covering this news in the next session. It's a very good news related to the Citizens Charter, the update which has been done by RBI. We will be covering it in the next session. So don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't liked the session yet. Don't forget to share the link of this session with your friends, and if you are not going through with this particular video on regular basis, then I would request you, please go through with this video for better results. So that will be all from my side, guys. We'll catch you in the next session. Bye bye, take care, good luck, God bless you. Aniruddha, this Sunday you will have session on annual report, and tomorrow you will have session on your fiscal stability report. Okay? So tomorrow you have financial stability report session, and on Sunday you have your session on annual report. So be tuned. I will be sharing the link of the session on my Telegram channel as well as on my WhatsApp group. So stay tuned. Do join the session, which is going to help you a lot. Thank you so much. Good luck. God bless you. Bye-bye.